I'm going to die right now. And the thought of my family coming to see my body with the surroundings that was there, like, absolutely killed me. To the point where I started cleaning up. I started grabbing all my needles and I have no idea if this video is going to get taken down or not, but we're going to go for it anyways. Was shooting Suboxone the worst decision that I could have made? Well, given the context and the situation around it, I'm going to say yeah, and let's get into why. So at the time leading up to me shooting the Suboxone, I was on Methadone. And I was on Methadone treatment for maybe like 2 to 3 months when I did it. So as I've spoke before in my Methadone video, if you guys haven't seen that, I'll leave a link down in the description. You guys can watch that. But when I was on the Methadone treatment, I didn't pass a drug test one time. And they just kept upping my dose. You know, I was still craving that rush at mid-afternoon, nighttime. You know, I didn't have any withdrawals, but I still just wanted a rush. I still wanted to do drugs. So while I was on Methadone, I was either A, shooting heroin, or B, smoking crack later in the afternoon or later that night. Now this particular day, I didn't have any money for heroin. I didn't have any money for crack. I couldn't come up with any side hustles to try to come up with any money, but I had to get high. Like, it's weird to explain because I was already high from my Methadone dosage. I'd been passing out all day long, you know, but I still wanted that rush. I still was like bored. I still wanted an escape. And I remember sitting I was renting a room at the time. And at the time, I think I was on 180 milligrams of Methadone, give or take. It was somewhere around that range. And I had some Suboxone in my room, and when I couldn't get any heroin, I couldn't get any crack, I was like, what if I shoot the Suboxone? What if I do that? So I do what anybody would do, and I start Googling, can you shoot Suboxone? Now, the first, I don't know, 5 or 10 things that came up were, you know, links to like doctors and links to like Reddit and links to all types of stuff. And every single link that I hit, they said, don't do it. No, 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 no. I got like 7 to 10 no's before I just kept searching. And all I had to do was find that one yes. I found the one yes that said, yes, you could shoot Suboxone. You should do it. So I'm like, fuck it. You know, this, even though these other 10 said no, this one says yes, so I'm gonna go for it. And I remember I had like an 8 milligram strip, and I put it in the cooker and I started to cook it up. And it wasn't mixing very good. It was kind of chunky, and I just kept boiling it and it wouldn't mix in. And I finally got it to go in the needle. And now at this time, both of my arms were completely blocked off. You know, I was nearing like 300 pounds. So like I can see a lot of veins in my body now, but back then, you know, I couldn't see any veins. You know, I would do everything I could, like heating up areas, just trying to see a vein appear. But all the veins in my arms have collapsed. You know, the ones in my legs have collapsed. I can't hit anywhere. So at the time I was shooting in my feet. And I remember I did the Suboxone and I shot it in my foot. And I could feel, as soon as I shot that Suboxone, I could feel it go through my veins. Like, it's crazy to explain, but I felt it like a feeling going through my body, racing through. And I felt the way that the veins went. Well, it went up my leg, and then it went through my arm, and like went through here, went through there. And I felt it trace all the way through. And immediately, within like 2 seconds, I just about shit myself. And my whole body just went into, you know, shock. I was sweating. and I was all pale, and I was fighting not to shit myself and piss myself, and it was the worst feeling ever. And I didn't know what happened, and I started freaking out. It got so much to the point where the rooming house that I was in, I had, I was picking up needles about, a box at a time, however many came in a box, 100 or whatever. I had boxes and boxes, and I had dirty needles everywhere, cookers everywhere. I had just paraphernalia spread throughout this room. It was trash, cigarette butts everywhere. And I remember having a split second thinking where I was like, I'm going to die right now. And the thought of my family coming to see my body with the surroundings that was there, like, absolutely killed me, to the point where I started cleaning up. I started grabbing all my needles, and I started grabbing all this stuff, and I couldn't even do it because I had to go to the bathroom so bad. So I ended up going to the bathroom. I came back, and I'm still cleaning up the stuff because I feel like, this is all within 60 seconds. I feel like I know that I'm going to die at that point, and I have to get my room clean because I don't want my parents to come down here and see the needles everywhere. Not that that would make it any much better, because if I died, then I died, But what had happened is that, at the time where I didn't think about it before, is that, the certain drugs that are inside Suboxone, one of them is an opiate blocker. It never went through my head. And I knew this stuff because I had been on Suboxone. But I just wanted to, get high so bad that I was completely blinded by my decisions that I still went for it anyways. And as soon as I shot that, it put my body into an immediate withdrawal. The worst withdrawal that I could have ever felt, because it was sudden. It wasn't slowly coming on. It was immediately the worst withdrawal that I ever, have been through. And there was nothing that I could do about it. At that point, I'm getting desperate, and I'm begging people, please just give me a 10 bag. I'll give you, 50 back. I'm just begging anybody. And one of my buddies ended up fronting me a 10 bag, and I shot that. Absolutely nothing happened. Because obviously when you're on the Suboxone, you're still an opiate blocker. There's nothing you can do about it. Drugs are not going to take effect. Any opiates, it's not going to help. I felt this way for maybe 3 hours, which is crazy because there's another part in the Suboxone. I'm not a doctor or a scientist, or I don't understand it exactly, but I know one part is blocking the opiate, one part is sort of giving you that high a little bit, That's controversial, but I'm saying it gets you high. But that part wasn't taking over at all. It took 2.5 to 3 hours to where it finally calmed down, and I felt okay. And I remember I was just punching things. I was punching the doors, punching walls. I'm like, you're such a fucking idiot. What were you fucking thinking? It's just the strength of addiction, the strength of wanting that rush, and completely just blocking out all the negative stuff that could happen and just hyper focusing on, I just need to feel this rush right now, and I don't care what happens. I'm gonna go rob this store. I'm gonna go shoplift. I'm gonna go rob this person. I have to get that rush. I have to get that high right now, and nothing else matters. It's so crazy how my mind could have just blocked out all the negative stuff, all the 10 different links that said, do not do this. And here I was doing it. So hopefully you can learn something from this. Number one, don't do drugs. And number two, don't shoot Suboxone. If you're in a situation like me, it was horrific. And I can't tell you enough not to do it. So I don't know what kind of value you're going to get out of this video besides don't shoot Suboxone. It's kind of a crazy story of me. Also, I'm sorry, there hasn't been a lot of like sober truck talk videos. My air conditioning went out of my truck and it's been like 90, 95 degrees. And I've been having to drive around with both windows all the way down. And I just couldn't fathom keeping my windows up and just sitting in like 100-degree heat dying. And I'm just like dripping sweat talking to you guys. So it's starting to cool down a little bit more so I can have my windows kind of down. Next week I'm I'm pulling my dash and I have to replace the AC evaporator in my truck. So I'm gonna do that myself. If you guys are liking the content, please like, please comment, please subscribe. I love all you guys. Until next video, I'm out.